Alright guys, the next video on rates. Alright, the next topic. A rate is an ordered comparison, so the order is very important, it's very specific, of different measurements of different types. So you encounter rates every day. For example, rate of pay comes in dollars per hour, okay? Speed, you experience that getting to school, measured in kilometers per hour, okay? So just note at this point that per is really just a shorter way of saying for every, okay? Something for every something else. Alright. The first something is the first measurement, and the for every what comes after it is the second measurement that you're comparing it to, okay? So a rate of say $15 per hour is essentially saying the same thing as $15 for every hour worked. Alright? Mathematically, per means to divide something, alright? So kilometers per hour is written as km divided by h. The per stands for that division sign, or km per h with the division sign written like that on the same line instead of one on top of the other. These both mean the same thing. Those are both divisions, okay? But I just wanted to make this video today because this isn't really helping you with the actual questions, but it'll just help you to understand what it's talking about with the ms to the power of -1 stuff, because you might have had different experiences with the being taught powers, negative powers by your teachers, alright? So I want to bring you all to the same level. Just going to close the door. So you're going to be seeing in these exercises they keep using km h to the power of -1. What is all that about? Well, that also means the same thing as km over h and km over h in the line. That's just because anything with a negative power means that you're dividing by that number. So this number here, h, whatever it is, it's to the power of -1. So it's you're dividing km by this number here because it's to the power of -1. That's what a negative power does. If it was h to the -2, that would be kilometers divided by h squared instead, and it goes on like that. If it was h to the -3, the negative just means it's divided by whatever this number is, and the power, the number itself, tells you how many what power it is underneath. Alright, so there might be an example down here. Yeah, the square kilometers one I'll be able to show you. So I just wanted to go through a couple of examples here that helps you work out what that km h -1, what those negative powers mean. So petrol consumption, for example, is liters per kilometer. So from what I've shown you, that's the same as liters per, so divided by kilometer. So it's being divided by kilometers, so that would be the same as liters and kilometers to the power of -1. That means exactly the same thing. The power of -1 is telling you that is this number L divided by km. Alright, next, rainfall measured in millimeters per year. So based on what I've told you, it's going to be millimeters divided by year, right? But just like before, because it's being divided by the year number, it's millimeters and year to the -1. Okay, dollars per kilogram, dollars per kilogram is going to be the same as dollars kilogram -1. And finally this one's a little bit trickier. It's people per square kilometer is km to the power of 2. That's a square kilometer. So instead of it just being km to the -1, it's to the second power. You're dividing by km to the power of 2. So it's going to be people km -2 this time. Okay, that means the same thing as people over, determined by the negative sign, kilometers squared. So hopefully that eases some confusion with what the -1 powers are here, like meters per second, ms to the -1. Depends on who you've had. Well, it shouldn't, but yeah, it will depend on who you've had as a teacher before. So yeah, don't be tricked by that. It doesn't mean anything different to what you're dealing with, and don't be scared off by it. Alright, so see you in the next video about speed. Mr.